right, everybody. Welcome back in to another episode of the markleskopodcast. Joined by Jared Miller once again and Aaron Zimmerman, viewer of the show. Going to talk Terry Smith, Bob Chesney possibly coming in and tying the tradition of Penn State into modern-day college football, and they can absolutely do that. So, real quick, I was talking to Brett, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm just not going to have a membership right now, just because, I don't know, having a membership, if it makes sense, it's just not really me to charge people to watch this, which I'm really not doing. But if you guys want to support us, just support us. Subscribe, like, share it with your friends, turn on post notifications, and you can support us in super chats and the thanks button. That's sometimes you have to hit the triple dots at the bottom right to hit the thanks button. But if you guys want to support us, you can do it that way for now. Maybe down the road I'll make a membership, but that's kind of where the direction I want to go right now. So, Brett, welcome in, man.
What's going on, guys?
So, real quick, a couple things. One thing that really angered me was watching Landon Tengwell's show. He said that there was no sign in Lash Building of the past and or Joe Paterno and Lash when he was there. Landon knew nothing about the history of Penn State, which is extremely sad. I'm not surprised, but that's another reason why we should all be happy that the previous guy is gone. And one thing that made me happy, though, tonight in his presser, I think it was Neil Rodell came in and he was like, Terry, mashed potatoes or sweet potatoes? And then they laughed and it was like, oh, that was a joke about the Franklin regime. And then people were laughing. I'm like, and then I got mad again. I remembered how annoying that was and how incredibly mad that made me, because I think we just lost to Ohio State and he's asking people about their Thanksgiving dinner. So, yeah. But you guys remember that?
Yes.
Oh, every time he did it, yeah.
God. Oh, man.
I thought it was funny just because he always did it and it was stupid. So I thought it was funny because it was dumb. Yeah.
And it was always after a big loss, too. It's like,
yeah.
But anyway, we move on. Terry Smith, guys. We're going to go across the panel here. There's an argument for him to be the head coach. And I think it's a solid argument for sure. I posted a video yesterday. It was like a collage between him and Franklin on my Instagram, and it's up to, I think it was at, let me see. It is at 222,000 views and almost 12,000 likes. So people liked it apparently. And then I made another one. It was the Wolf of Wall Street scene where he's like, I'm not leaving. And it's Terry Smith's head. And Brett was saying, because Brett follows all the players, all the recruits, like Brett knows the size of their pinky finger when they're a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. So he said a bunch of players liked it.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
So saw Don DeLuca at Giant tonight, just casually. I was like, "What's up, man?" Like,
yeah.
I'm right in the middle of all of it. I'm like, I live right there, so
yeah. So, Aaron, what do you think of? And Aaron, you're a long-time Penn State fan, so you know what Penn State means. There's a lot of tradition, like Jared said the other night. What do you think of Terry Smith? What do you think about the Terry Smith situation right now?
I had some time to think about it, and I understand some of the hesitation that people have with well, he hasn't been an experienced head coach, or he came from Franklin's own, it came from Franklin's own armada here. Are you sure about handing him the reins? And I understand that you look at some of the other schools out there who did that in the past, and it's been a mixed bag. But I also say, if we're going to look at it under a microscope, then look at it under a microscope. And when you do that, there's a lot of things that are very positive and are very different from those other situations where they kept the interims. One of them is Terry Smith is actually an alma mater guy. He is a German for Penn State. He came up through the coaching of Joe Paterno and his staff, so he knows ball and he knows how ball's supposed to be. And he has been already, unlike a lot of interims in the past, he's been the assistant head coach for a while, which a lot of interims are not. Sometimes they're just pulled from the staffers. The other thing is he's been doing a lot of the recruiting. He's been involved in a huge amount of their recruiting. Basically, since he got to Penn State in 2014, he got right in the weeds with that. So I think if you have him and you keep keep Ty Lowe and those guys, I feel like the situation there's a lot of positives there, and from what he's put on tape, now he hasn't had enough tape obviously yet. It takes a lot for a coach, right, to figure out who a coach really is. But I think if the tape he's put out there so far is very good. Now, the concern other people would tell you is, well, the players are hyped for him to change. It's a short term, there's a burst of energy from this short term change. Will that still be there once an off season passes and you've got that training drag that goes through? And I understand that. I can see what they're saying. Terry Smith is a football guy, and I don't see him struggling to keep the energy. Like, he just doesn't seem like that kind of guy to me. So,
yeah. Whose volume am I picking up my voice? I don't know. I just heard it. All right, we're good, I think. Yeah, so Aaron, for me, this is a very emotional time. That's why I kind of made that collage. It was to give Coach Terry praise if I could. And that's why I made that, because 6 weeks ago, I couldn't have been more disappointed or felt more shame for where my program was. And it's not the program's fault. It was who was leading it. And I was extremely upset because I don't want it to go bad for the head coach of Penn State. I don't care who it is, but it was. And I've been calling for him to be gone for years. And then it ended up like this. So to go from that to people chanting his name, first of all, he's a Penn State guy. He's a letterman, like you said. He played for Joe Paterno. That was Penn State. That was Penn State heaven Saturday night. Terry Smith, former player, Joe Paterno product, wearing a Joe Pa 409. We all know as diehard Penn State fans, Joe did what he had to do in the scandal, and that's it. And he was honoring him, which apparently the last guy did not, which is absolutely pathetic and wrong. And then they beat up Nebraska. The offense looked fantastic. It looked like an 08 offense. And again, like, it was Nebraska. I mean, that's a rivalry, guys. It might not be official, but we don't like Nebraska and they don't like us. And I saw two Nebraska fans in the gym the other night. It was a father and son, and I went up and talked to them, made sure they felt welcome, because that's what we should do as Penn State fans. But I told them the only red you see around here is at a stoplight. So you guys really stick out. They were wearing Dylan Raiola jerseys, both of them, his fault. He just said, phenomenal brew. I don't know who he is. Thank you for commenting, but it's a done deal. Bob Chesney will be announced this Sunday.
There you go. It'll probably be leaked sooner, but
Oh, so we're gonna be. When is it? When are they announcing it?
Oh, I don't know when. I just know, like I said, if from what I was told is true, that they're going to wait for definite yes or no from DeBoer. I'm sure if DeBoer says no, which Sunday is supposed to be his deadline, then I'm sure it'll probably be leaked sometime around then. Some people said a little sooner.
But
Sunday, you said, go ahead.
Sunday's 2 days before signing day, so that's funny, yeah.
And they did want to get a coach. I did read they want to get someone in before signing day. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make, but
2 days is not very generous, man. That sucks.
I guarantee you.
Franklin screwed us already with that.
Yeah, he did. I guarantee you, this is the guy they wanted to. This is who they wanted. Like they narrowed it down ultimately, and I think that's who they want. I mean, you say about DeBoer, so maybe that wasn't like their number one top choice, but it's still a very good choice. Aaron, you said the other night that you didn't have an issue with Franklin. Do you agree with what I just said in the sense that what he did? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know him personally, and I always have that rule of I don't know a guy, so I'm not going to judge him too harshly from a distance. But much like I have with Brian Kelly down at LSU, I know he's not a good dude. Like he's not a great guy. I know he's probably just kind of at best an okay dude. And that was James Franklin to me. And you could see it. You could see it in every time he got up in front of a microphone. He was one of those guys that I always say he's got something he's hiding all the time. He's constantly always hiding something. But you could just tell that he was, and I also got that vibe of that DEI hire with him, that he was there because it was clean and it saved the program from facing its demons as opposed to just doing the right thing, right? Facing them down and getting better and identifying what was really wrong and solving it. There's a bad habit, people have a habit of doing that, but I felt like that was one of the reasons I was never surprised that he whitewashed the program. Because that's what he was there to do. I mean, he was hired for that. That intent was to basically disconnect from the history of the program as much as possible after what happened. And I always thought that was a bad approach. That's not how you deal with things. But I just got vibes from him. Too many times I would catch wind from people that I knew up there that would tell me, he gets in arguments with fans. He doesn't support the local community. He doesn't. He fights with Pat Kraft about NIL things. He fights with the staffers about just ridiculous stuff. Like he's up here worried about what direction his Gatorade bottles turned. It's just silly things, And when you hear a lot of that about somebody without knowing them personally, you try not to be too judgmental. But you hear enough of that to know I don't think I would like to hang out with him. It was just a vibe I got. I was like, I don't think I'd be friends with James Franklin if I knew him. But
yeah, you don't want to watch a game in your boxers with him in the basement.
Eat mashed potatoes.
Dude, he's not the kind of guy like you want to go get a beer with.
No, never came off.
So. Yeah,
he's a micromanager. That's like I know a person like one of my contacts that's a good contact from that connections with the BLT. So he was just a freakish micromanager, and that was another hang up people had. Franklin was too arrogant and stubborn for his own good.
He was so arrogant, man. So arrogant.
Kraft didn't want to give him an extension. He went behind Kraft's back to the president. Kraft wanted him as his boss to embrace NIL, to pay recruits more. He didn't want to do that. Like everything was his way. He and as a top guy, okay, you're going to have most of the control. But he was too stubborn to accept change. And then he goes to Virginia Tech, and everything he says at Virginia Tech, you could clearly he didn't have much self-reflection, because it's the same exact stuff he's saying, he said when he was at Penn State, and just too many stories behind closed doors. Just too many other things. It's not,
Yeah, he like the other night, one of my favorite comments was from, I think it was Franklin Natty. First of all, on top of what he said the other night, Brett said, yeah, Troy Hoon from California is committing to Virginia, or he's going to Virginia Tech for a visit.
Yeah.
And then he says, the best in PA go to Virginia Tech. And it's like, that's the opposite of Pennsylvania. California is the opposite of Pennsylvania. So that's not true. But someone said about, they said, they're going to give Franklin $200 million for this program. And they said, well, we gave him $1 billion, so you're $800 million short.
That was me.
So, well, yeah, thank you, Aaron. That was hilarious. But I will say this real quick, that since we're kind of on the subject, I know a guy, okay? I've heard so many stories about Franklin that I'm not going to say them, but I've heard so much stuff, just people. I'm from the area, so but it's not good. But there is a guy that I know, I'm distantly related to him. He worked for the football team for multiple decades. Okay. He quit, and I don't know, a couple years into his regime, he hates Franklin. Every time I see him, he's on a tear about Franklin. Like if he was drowning, he'd throw a cinder block at him. Like he hates him. And he's told me so many stories about Franklin and how arrogant he was. And this guy had been there for multiple decades. He liked Joe and he liked O'Brien, and then he left because he was so turned away by Franklin. And that's a guy that worked there. So that's just a little
There's certain stories I don't want to say because I don't want to get my one buddy pissed off at me. But the one I will share is, and this isn't like an inside contact or anything. This is just a regular friend, like one of my close friends. So one of my close friends is coached with Franklin at some point in his career. I don't know if they're at Maryland together, I think at some point. And I don't want to mention the guy's name. But anyways, this guy that I'm referring to that coached with Franklin went on to the NFL, defensive coordinator in the NFL with an NFL team right now, and has been in the NFL for a long time now. When Franklin got hired at Penn State, this guy, and him and Franklin used to talk regularly when they worked together in Maryland and afterwards a little bit. When Franklin got hired at Penn State, this guy reached out to him to try to call him and congratulate him on getting the job. And Franklin just like totally blew this guy off completely. That's how arrogant he was. Like this guy is like, I'm in the fucking NFL. Sorry. I'm in the NFL.
That's all right.
I'm in the NFL above you. I run circles around you. I'm reaching out as a friend to you. And like, now you're like big shot in me. You're big time in me. Like he was an arrogant guy. He was just an arrogant guy that, I mean, now he did a lot of good. Parents loved him. He did genuinely care about his players for the most part. So I give him that, but it's just his arrogance, his stubbornness, his unwilling to change. I work with a guy who played high school football at a place called Nativity, which is in PA in Schuylkill County. And I don't know this player's name, but one of the best players that came out of this school played with Franklin at East Stroudsburg, and they were close. And I guess this guy fell on some hard times, isn't doing well. And this guy's high school coach was at Penn State at a camp or something with Franklin that he was running, and he asked Franklin to give this guy a call just as a little boost of confidence. That was all. Just like say hi to the guy, it'll cheer him up. Franklin said, "Oh, I can't do that."
It's easy to get into this topic, but I'm guilty of it. I'm really trying to put my energy into hopefully the new guys. And
Bob Chesney.
but it's so easy to fall back into that because he really put us in a tough spot, man. It's not like I haven't been saying it for a long time, you know. So, but Chris, Bob Chesney, what do you think? You think that's a good? I mean, you kind of already gave your thoughts, but you think that's a good hire? I mean,
I think if you're a winner, you're a winner. And I've always said, even though this guy has experience, I think work ethic takes over in any just know-how, intuition, work ethic is what's most important. And this guy has it. He proved he could win anywhere. You know, there's going to be people that hate this hire and think it's crazy that after all this, we got a guy from a smaller school. There's going to be people that love it. For the people that don't like it, you would have said the same thing about Kirk Signetti if this was 2 years ago and Franklin was fired. You would have said the same thing. So I do like the hire. You know, I am concerned about players leaving. That is not going to be Terry. But I will say it wasn't, and you said that, Mark, that this is the guy that Penn State must have targeted. This Bob Chesney did not even come onto the radar until a few weeks back or so. Like this whole search that's been going on, a month now, at least a little over a month, whatever it's been. Like he was not he wasn't even really mentioned as a candidate. Pat Kraft swung for the fences. Mike Elko was above Chesney. DeBoer's above Chesney. He even tried, as crazy as it sounds, he did reach out to Marcus Freeman. And, that was never going to happen. But he did go big game hunting. And, he still has he still has a slight shot left with DeBoer from what I was told, but maybe he already got his answer, since it seems like it's Chesney.
You guys have anything else to say about Chesney?
He's a likable guy. Franklin was not. So that's the main difference, right? The boosters might just be happy enough to be like, yeah, this guy's likable. I like his charisma. He's not arrogant. He seems humble.
Yeah,
we'll give him money. I mean, that's what
he'll be hungry. Like Joe Paul said in the comments, he'll be hungry.
The hungry lion now, Nittany lion.
What I saw from him, I looked him up real quick before I jumped on, and it's 129-51 record that he has as a head coach. I mean,
130, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. So, but I did also look up another number. The only thing I would say is a concern is, again, for how long he's been a head coach. Bob Chesney's track record, again, it's a small school, I get that, but 5 guys have come from his school, from his coaching, have gone to the NFL. 5. I'm just saying that's something to kind of consider, where it's like you think like, oh, these guys go to Penn State to get to the next level if they can. And it's like, well, this guy, it's a start. But I'm saying it's interesting to think that JMU has only drafted 5 guys for how long he's been a head coach at his school. So it's an interesting.
Does anybody know this? Does anybody know this answer? Bill Snyder totally transformed K-State. I mean, totally 180 that whole program. Total 180 that whole program. How many guys did he put into the NFL, Chris? Do you know?
Bill Snyder. No, I have no idea about. I'm not as worried. I'm not as worried about what he was saying. What you're saying, but like James Madison, you're not going to put a lot of guys in the NFL. I'm not worried about him developing players. I think he could develop guys for the NFL. Because he's going to have better talent to develop. But what I'm worried about is selling it to recruits. What's going to be really interesting is the staff he puts together. Now, if you go out, and I have no idea what his staff is going to be. I don't know if he's going to keep Jim Knowles. I have no idea, because I know that was a question in the chat. But I think it's vitally important. Now, if you keep some NFL guys with some proven track records, position coaches are huge. So many recruits, I follow recruiting like crazy, and so many recruits are won over by their position coach, how much they like their position coach, what the position coach has done as he put people in the NFL. If you bring guys from JMU that, haven't coached top talent then that could be an issue. If you keep some position coaches by chance that, like, say Terry stays on as corners coach or whatever, that's a good thing. He has to get proven position coaches to be able to sell that.
I could see him keeping Jim Knowles, and I could also see Pat Kraft micromanaging in a good way. Like, these are some guys we should go after, Bob, and they could probably work as a team. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sure they've had those discussions, but
Thanks, Joe Paul. 47
I
players.
think with Jim Knowles' contract being, the highest paid guy and being that they put so much money into it and it was just year one, I think Knowles is probably likely to come back. But we'll
Terry
see.
got in.
I mean, now the head coach. Yeah, so the head coach is supposed to have his say of what staff, including offense coordinator and defense, supposed to have his say. In fact, there was an article today I read. Jackson Samuels Ford, who's defensive end recruit with 26, is staying with Penn State, and I think he was up for the weekend, and he met with Pat Kraft and was asking questions about the new head coach Pat Kraft didn't tell him who the new head coach was going to be, but when he was asking questions about the staff and stuff, Pat Kraft said that's going to be up to the new head coach.
47 players under Bill Snyder, but I just make that comparison because Bill Snyder went into an absolute they almost canceled the program. That's how bad they were. But he was at a big school. Bob Chesney, like Chris just said, he's never been at a big school. So to me, 5 guys in the NFL from that tenure, that's probably good. But
it'd be interesting. Go look up how many Kurt Signetti put in the NFL while at JMU. Yeah. I don't know how long he coached there, but no.
Well, he was at IUP, right? Was he at IUP?
I believe so. But, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was.
Yep.
Are you guys good on time?
Yeah,
I have to roll. My computer's actually dying, and I just got home from work. My battery's
all
worn
right, Chris.
out.
Well, thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night, guys.
Bye-bye. Have a good one, Chris. Also, Mark, JMU's in Virginia, so if he's already recruiting out in this region, he might have some ties, right? So Virginia's down the road. That's where Frankie Boy went. So
people
and I call him Frankie Boy because he's a boy. He's a child.
Yeah,
right. He's not.
He is. He's a moron, is what he is. But I call him. I don't call him. People keep saying he has ties to Virginia. He's gonna go against Penn State to DMV. Franklin, go take the next 10 classes of number 1 players. Go ahead. Take them all. We're good. Okay? Mm-hmm. Trust me. We're okay. You're going to go down there. And if you get Chip Kelly, you might go 10-2 now. So, we'll see. But
Chip Kelly's available now.
Yeah.
He just got fired off my terrible team.
People are already saying that he's going to Virginia Tech. I'm like, all right. Because he does need Chip Kelly down there. He does.
Should we mention the Tony Rojas thing quick? That's funny.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Virginia Tech thinks that they're getting Tony Rojas. Tony Rojas legit commented on the post with a thumbs down, as in, there's no way. so that's funny because Tony Rojas liked one of Mark's videos, so that's cool, too.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, Brett, you want to say the people that liked it? You were, listing them off earlier?
Yeah, I thought it was cool because a lot of them follow me and they'll see my story, but I don't post football stuff on my thing. Tyser Denmark liked it. Who else?
Quentin Martin did. Joe just texted me and said Quentin Martin did. That's my favorite player on the team.
Yeah, there were a couple players on there. Oh, LeVar Arrington II liked it.
Yeah. Adam Brenneman. Who else? But again, it gets Terry praise, so that's all I want is give him more praise. He deserves all of it.
School of the Blind liked it too, just in spite of Notre Dame, they liked it.
Yeah, because they got upset by Notre Dame. Yeah, but tradition in today's game, guys. So so let's pretend that Bob Chesney is our coach now. And Terry Smith is on the team. If you guys are good on time, then can we take the Penn State tradition, like Jared said the other night? That was a very eloquent speech Jared gave about the tradition of, Penn State. I mean, it's tradition. I mean, look at my dad. I mean, he's tradition of Penn State. That's old school, right there. He used to walk to games from Ghetto Wise all the way to Beaver Stadium. You guys know where that's at. That's by the State College High School. And he saw Bear Bryant on the sideline, like, whew, so that's old school football right there. So can we tie, because you can do it both. You can do both. Tie the tradition of Penn State, which Franklin supposedly didn't do, which is, again, I'm okay. But can we tie the tradition of Penn State into today's game, which is NIL and the portal? Are we going to pay guys to get them here? Do you, whoever wants to start, go ahead. Everybody give their piece.
Yeah, I'll start. I was, I mentioned earlier to you that I was learning a lot about Bob Chesney and who he is over the last couple of days. Looking into and hearing the words that come out of his mouth, he does seem to get it, that we are in a new era of college football. It is what it is. We don't have to like it. You don't have to love it, but you do have to work with it. And he seems to embrace the idea that, hey, your teams are going to be a mix of your mercenaries, your portal guys, and you're going to have your traditional football kids coming in from high school. But one thing that he said, I think it was his Barstool Sports interview that I was looking at, was that it was super, super important that you do not make the mistake like Mike Norvell made. Now, he didn't say Mike Norvell specifically, but where you just go hard to the portal and forget all about traditional recruiting, because that can blow up in your face really bad.
Yeah.
And so it seemed like he got the idea to me that you've got to mix both. You've got to do well in your high school stuff, but then you need to have a good dedicated staff to work that NIL, to work that mercenary group, right? Where you're bringing in those talent guys that fill the empty spots, but you're still working the guys up for. And he seemed to grasp that ideally you build from the high school group as much as you can, and then you just fill holes where you need to with NIL. So
I want to make this comparison real quick, guys. Joe Paul just said about Terry Smith makes the most sense. Listen, I get it. I understand what you're saying, but let's use the kind of a loose analogy, but in a quicker window. Brett Favre was at the Packers, and he was, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. But he was a Packer. That's what he was. He was a Green Bay Packer. He'd been there, established. And then Aaron Rodgers comes in, and he sits under Brett Favre for years, and he's a Hall of Famer now. They'll both be Hall of Famers.
Yep.
If you have Terry Smith at Penn State, you're bringing in your backup future starting quarterback in Bob Chesney. Terry, let's say he comes in and he's the head coach, Bob Chesney, but you have Terry Smith, the veteran quarterback, if that makes sense, there, keeping him under his wing, teaching him the ways, holding the roster together.
Penn State tradition, all of that.
Yeah, maybe I could have used a better analogy, but does that make sense? I mean, you're bringing in a guy who he's not going to be doing it himself. He's going to have a ton of help. And he needs that. That is a perfect situation. You have a Terry Smith, and then you bring in a Bob Chesney, a young guy. He's like, how old is he? He's like a couple years older than us.
47, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's
okay. 48. Well, he looks younger than that.
Yeah, I know he looks younger than me. I almost feel bad.
But you're bringing in a guy who, yes, he's the head man, but dude, he's going to have so much help. He's going to learn so much. He's got an AD in Pat Kraft, who he's a monster, man. Like, he is one of the best. And I knew when he came in that changes were going to be made. So I think that's the best way I could see it. Is we're bringing in our future starting quarterback, but it's going to take the veteran is going to be giving them a lot of guidance starting out. So, yeah.
Yep, Terry
Aaron
Smith, Jim Knowles will stay. I think they'll both stay. Stan Drayton, I think, did a pretty good job overall. I think you retain Stan Drayton if he wants to stay. Marcus Higgins, they could probably get rid of him, to be honest with you. Marcus Higgins hasn't done all that much here. Good luck to him. OC, you got to get a new OC. Andy Kolnicki he's going to go revert back to his old ways and ruin our season again. So, not really trying to see that. We've played this tape before, so yeah.
Franklin Natty, welcome back.
There it is.
Thank you for giving us a laugh. Bob Chesney he's going to keep Terry Smith. He'll keep Ty Howell, I think.
Ty Howell, yeah, have to.
Poindexter, absolutely. And I think he should really try to keep the Letterman, Dan Connor, Alan Zamitis, Jordan Lucas,
Deion
Barnes, who not Anthony Scrotto. Calvin Lowry was at Penn State coaching at one point. But I remember when because Calvin Lowry was with the Titans and Alan Zamitis was with the Bucks, and I remember I saw him at the Blue White game one time walking back. I was with this girl. We're walking back to our dorms, and this kid had a 21 jersey on. And I said, "You know whose jersey that is?" He said, "No." I said, "That's Alan Zamitis." And then like 10 minutes later, I saw him walking. Pretty funny.
Wow.
But you guys, Jared, you want to give, what do you think about tying tradition in?
So I'm going to throw this number out. 1901. Okay. So tell me if this sounds familiar. For the glory of old state, for her founders strong and great, for the future that we wait, raise the song, raise the song. That was written in 1901, 25 years before Joe Paterno was born. Just throw that out there. That song is 25 years older than Joe Paterno. So there was tradition even before that man was alive. So
Absolutely.
there's an idea that whoever comes in can maybe have the start of their own tradition, have a new kind of pride in knowing that those words, you're always a part of that. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, your coach has always had their name attached to that. So I feel as if whoever the new head coach is could very well start a new tradition with the old ideas, with the old values. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why they've been there for so long. The words are so great. The words are just, they get in your head. That's really what they're there for. You just don't forget. You're supposed to not forget about those things. That's what makes them tradition. And I feel like with the new guy, knowing that that is always going to be there, that as long as you know that's what you're coming into and what you can carry with you as a head coach, that's your responsibility to just keep those words going, to keep that tradition alive. Now, with all the new things between NIL and transfer portal, yes, it's not going to be easy to keep tradition, but it's always going to be there no matter what. If we can just find 70 to 80 guys to get on that roster and all have the same idea for 2-3 years tops with the new head coach, that's really all the more I can ask for.
I will say, Jared, I'm glad we ditched the pink uniform stuff.
Yeah.
We did make one mistake.
That's a great point. Yeah. Terry did say today in his presser he talks to Franklin a lot. That kind of terrified me, if I'm being honest. So
that is a little concerning. Yeah, for sure.
I get it.
It'll dwindle out here. Frankie Boy's going to be too busy getting the best people in PA. So
but he's
not going to have time to talk to Terry. By
the way, Franklin Natty, real quick, man, Pennsylvania is not the entire United States. It's just one state. So
one state.
I don't know. Like, Peterson's from Minnesota, and he didn't even spell it right.
Yeah.
But
I hooked you up though, man. Don't worry, I fixed your spelling.
good analogy, Jared. Good.
Well, to be fair,
Jared's a theater guy.
Terry
Jared
didn't say what they were talking about. He might have
Yeah.
been calling them to make fun of him.
Yeah, I think he called him and be like, yo, where do you would normally eat? Because I'm gonna go there, make an appearance, and now they're gonna like us all again since you probably ruined it when you went.
He probably texted Terry, yams or mashed potato. He texted him something stupid. That's what he said.
Dude,
Yeah,
if I was
Thanksgiving food.
if I was a media member in those press conferences, if he asked me my favorite food, I would have been like, roast Buckeye. That's my favorite food. Actually, I think I commented that on one of those one time. I was like, roast Buckeyes. That's my favorite Thanksgiving food,
Yeah,
but we'll never have it.
I could eat that every day of the week, really. I mean, yeah.
Brett, what do you think about? Who talked about tradition? Aaron, Jared.
They both did, yeah.
Brett,
Tradition's everything, man. Keeping the Penn State tradition in there. So putting stuff back in the Joe Pa era, back in the Lash building and stuff. I don't know who took it down, right? Did Franklin actually take it down? That's what
O'Brien didn't. I know that.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's weird. It needs to go back up instantly. It has to go back. You got legends that played there and coached there with Joe Paterno and Joe Paterno himself. So tradition is everything. I think Adidas is going to keep the tradition with it because obviously, guys, we're going to Adidas next year, 2026. So I think they might do a flashy, like a greatness jersey, but they might switch it up a little bit. But I think they respect Penn State enough. They wanted us, right? They're offering $300 million to be a part of Penn State. So I think they'll keep tradition. They respect Penn State. So I think that's pretty cool. Nike is a Penn State tradition, obviously, since we've had them, but they're lowballing us, man, because our name's not Oregon. They're lowballing us. So
I'm glad you mentioned that. Really. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that, Brett, because it's
disrespectful. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some behind the scenes stuff with that whole Nike and Adidas thing. Mm-hmm. Nike is in Oregon. Everybody knows Nike fully backs Oregon. They just live Oregon stuff. And so there was some question about, they're lowballing us because they don't really favor us.
Yeah.
And they kind of prefer Oregon. And now that Oregon's in the Big Ten, that's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't a big deal before. So I think that had a lot to do too with Adidas saying, hey, we will step up and replace them for that. So
yeah. Franklin says Virginia Tech has Nike, the best brand for the best programs. You guys are probably getting $500K a year, so that's nothing. So you guys can take a hike.
Coupons to McDonald's isn't proper payment, so
you guys should be sponsored by McDonald's, not
Aaron. Hey guys, should I block Franklin Natty, or are you entertained by him?
He's all right so far.
He's fine.
He has an IQ of like -7, so
he's completely delusional. Yeah, I want to see an IQ test. Right? Wait, we have to pop quiz him because we told him we'd pop quiz him. He did show up for it. So we'll see.
Is Peterson from Minnesota? True or false?
What state is Troy Hoon from? What is Franklin's favorite dinner?
I have a clue where Troy Hoon's from. He's west of Pennsylvania, so you can narrow it down.
Narrow it down. There's 49 other states that he's from. I think he's too.
Yeah. I think if Brett, if you're good, it's simple, guys. Like honestly, I said simplify the offense. They did. I mean, my God, look at what they did the other night. Just simplify the offense. You can be conservative. You can be the opposite of that on offense, aggressive, whatever you want to do. You just have to simplify things. These guys are kids, and they got a lot on their minds, especially with all this stuff going on. So if you just simplify things, then, you can do it. So to simplify tradition with Penn State, you can absolutely take the tradition of Penn State and tie it into today's game. You just hit the portal and you embrace NIL. That's all you got to do. What are you laughing at? Ask Franklin Natty if he still thinks Katron Allen will be playing for Virginia Tech next year with 0 years of eligibility left. Refurbished stadium. Yep. New Adidas deal and a new coach.
That's what I was laughing at. Yeah.
What? Well, Adam Brenneman apparently knows nothing about anything, according to several people. So many people, when they said that, so many people were like, Adam Brenneman doesn't know anything. It's like, oh, okay.
Adam Brenneman's just putting out his thoughts on who he thinks should be the Penn State head coach, and I like Adam, man. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I like Adam. I knew him when he was at Penn State. Like, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
Unlike Hackenberg, he's a really nice guy. But yeah, so in terms of tradition, I think they can easily tie it in. I mean, I don't know. It just has to be embraced, you know? You can't, like someone said the other night, the best thing I've seen, Terry Smith said in his post presser, we're going to be blue collar. We're going to take our lunch pails and go to work. And someone said, well, you can't be blue collar and, you know, just think it's going to work. You have to bring guys in. It's like, that's not what he's saying. Whoever we bring in, however you bring them in today's game, you're going to go to work. That's what you're going to do. And you're not going to be a prima donna. So that's what he's saying. Like, that's never bad to be blue collar in football, you know? So I just learned, yeah, dude, you're learning, you're learning a lot.
You're learning you would have got held back 3 years if you went back to high school.
Yeah, like you're literally living in a cave somewhere, whoever you are. But yeah, I think it's simple, guys. Like, I just hope the new guy embraces that, and I think a young, hungry coach.
Yep.
Not that he's going to be forced into it, but I just hope he fully embraces it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let's say you get a Brian Hartline. Dude, that guy is literally Ohio State born and bred. So I don't know if he can come in and truly, you know,
truly adapt and like really fight for
it.
Yeah. He would have to like.
And you want to guess that Chesney's probably a Penn State guy.
Yeah, Chesney doesn't have to go through hypnosis just to come here. Like Brian Hartline might have to. Like just
he's probably an Eagles fan too, Aaron. So
yeah.
But
listen, I'm not an Eagles fan, but like I like the Eagles. I was very mad for what the heck just happened last night. Very mad.
Yeah.
Because I hate the Cowgirls more than anybody. So
we have to let the Cowboys feel good once in a while.
That was just bad coaching, horrendous coaching. Like
it was terrible.
Horrendous.
Tulo may not be our coordinator for long.
This poor guy just lost to Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
You're going to be forever known as the guy who gave Shedeur Sanders his first NFL win.
Bro, Pete Carroll is cooked, man. I don't know if Gino's cooked or Pete's cooked.
Listen, he can do jumping jacks as much as he wants. Just don't do it in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
just don't.
All right,
leave.
To finish up here, guys. Again, I don't even know. This is Irish prestige, bro. This is Irish prestige.
It's got to be him.
Just saying he's Franklin Natty. But Saquon is going to Virginia Tech. So, Aaron, you guys need to take a running back in the draft this year.
Yeah.
I've been spamming recruits DMs, trying to flip them. Rojas blocked me. I don't know why. Yeah, I have no idea. Where does that LSU goes after Heupel if they don't get Lane? Okay. Well, if you guys don't have anything else to say, I think we're good. We've made our points. But yeah, we got some good news with Chris coming on. I think it sounds like it's locked. Bob Chesney's locked in. That's what it sounds like. But we said that a few times about Drinkowitz and Matt Roll, and so
yeah, but a couple people said it's locked now. So like the chat.
Yeah, I don't know who Phenomenal Brew is. He's been in here before, but he must be in the know because the big name mystery. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who it would be. Heupel is the mystery Penn State candidate. Yeah,
the big name mystery was probably Kalen DeVore, dude. That's what it was.
I guess you would think.
Right? Has to be. That's a big name. I mean, he does have a good record. He does, but I'm not impressed. Like, I don't know. I'll take Bob Chesney, like you said, the younger guy who's more hungry.
And I don't see it with DeBoer just because it's kind of the same thing with the Mike Elko job. I didn't see a scenario where it made sense. Mike Elko is not a Penn State guy. He's not.
Yeah.
And he, like A&M, while they don't have the scope that Penn State does in terms of the region and fan base support. They're still a very big school, and they got a lot of oil money. So I just don't see like Elko. If you're in Elko's shoes, what's the point, right? It doesn't make a lot of sense to uproot your whole family from College Station, Texas, and go all the way to Penn State.
Yeah.
I don't see why, right? And DeBoer's kind of the same way. But then again, I said that about DeBoer before he ended up in Alabama. I was like, what in the world would you leave Washington State to go to Alabama for? No offense to Alabama fans. Yes, your program is best program in college football history. I get it. Yes, true. But DeBoer had very little to gain from making that move, and he had already gotten Washington. I mean, we talk about having a statue made of you. If you stay at Washington and you keep getting the national titles, you're going to get a statue there. There's no question about that. So I was shocked that and I will tell you, I lived in the Deep South. I spent a lot of my life in the Deep South in the Army. I lived in Louisiana for 2 years. I lived in Georgia. I lived in Kentucky, Tennessee, and I spent a lot of time in Texas in training. And I can tell you, there is no world where I leave Washington State to go live in Alabama. No offense, Alabama folks. It's just, most honest Alabama and Louisiana folks would tell you, yes, you wouldn't do that. So.
Okay, so I'll just say this real quick to Jeffrey, whatever your name is. For one thing,
the most delusional thing I've ever read.
And the definition of an Aggie is a student at an agricultural school.
They have 0 natties, right? They've never won a natty.
So let's take a Nittany Lion who would literally eat that guy.
What are we talking about?
That already makes it better. So
no, they're not. Yeah, Texas A&M is not a better school than Penn State. They are just a different school than Penn State.
Yeah, like A&M. I don't know why he would leave there because, like you said, oil money. Their band is like, it's the SEC, man. The only thing that I could see him maybe leaving, is because if he has one bad season, like he could be cooked, And he opened his career losing to Notre Dame at home, But then he got him back this year. So
all right, Jeffrey's getting blocked.
What did he say?
He puts the clown face up when he's the clown talking. So this is when dude's out of his mind.
Go away. At least Franklin Natty said something nice.
Yeah, Franklin Natty's not putting stupid shit. Like, that's crazy.
He's freaking Natty to freaking Virginia Tech. What?
Franklin would stuff Elko in a locker. Bro, I don't think that's physically possible.
I would be really surprised.
I don't think he's that's a big locker.
But if you guys want to keep talking, we can. I mean,
I gotta get going, guys.
Yeah, I do too. But
we said we were gonna do a short one. It's been an hour and a half.
Yeah, Aaron knows. We say we're gonna do a short one, then it's 3 hours later we're still on. No. But just interact with everybody. We like you guys commenting. We always appreciate that. So thank you guys for commenting. Seriously. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on post notification bells. And what'd you say?
Oh, nothing. I was reading. No, you're good.
But Aaron, thank you for coming on. Jared, again, thank you for coming on.
Thanks,
Brett,
guys.
as always.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys tomorrow night for pregame show. Aaron, we should do like a college football segment, where we just talk college football like across the board,
Man,
why not?
Talk your about college ball.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will one last.
Oh, we losing them?
Uh-oh.
I think we did.
Right at the end, we lost them. That's crazy. The fact that we never lose Chris when he's like on the verge of being lost.
I know Chris is always on the very edge.
Jeffrey must have cut his Wi-Fi.
Listen, I have to have good internet. I work from home, so I got a gig, so it's plenty good.
Oh boy.
Well, I wanted to ask. Can I ask you, Jared? What do you think about Bob Chesney.
Jared, go ahead and end it.
Okay, bud.
All right, see you.
Well, guys, thanks for coming on Mark Lesko podcast, and we'll see you guys for the next one. Until then, guys, have a good one.
Thanks again. Have a good night, guys.
See you guys.